Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. Say hello when you come on in. This is for totally obsessed tennis player members only. So, welcome. And what we're going to go through today is how to win with spin. I'm actually here on the other screen looking at the ultimate how to win with spin player, Rafa Nadal, in his second match back. His first match, he played incredible. Today, I but Demonauer, who's got match point now, got to give him credit. He's playing incredible tennis. But what we're going to go through is basically a strategy session on how to win with topspin. So right now, you guys should be going through. Hopefully, you're going through the topspin challenge, and you're really doing those drills so you get the feel of topspin. Right. This is the big promise inside the Totally Obsessed Tennis Club. We're going to get to that next level by finishing our technique, and by B, using smarter strategy. So today is more of a strategy session on how to win with topspin. And Demon Hour just won. Rafa, nice smile at the net. An amazing thing. This is, I think Rafa's pretty much said this is going to be his last year ever on tour. So sad to see him lose today, but happy for Demon Hour. And again, I thought Rafa, especially that first set, played amazing. Had his chances to actually pull that first set out. But anyway, so what I'm saying is with the Totally Obsessed Tennis Club, we want to make sure that we're going through our technical challenges a lot so that the more we get better at our technique, we can execute our strategy, right? And so that determines how you're going to be as good a player as you can be. I was thinking about this a lot. As much skill you can acquire and you can implement with as little thought as possible, then you become a better tennis player. When you're acquiring skill, but you still have to think about it a lot in matches, then it's tough to win matches, even if you have more skills than your opponent. Because if they have more limited skills than you have, but they're not thinking about their skills when they're playing you, they're just thinking about how to basically win, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. So make sure that you really go through these challenges. If you want to play a more advanced style of tennis, you got to go through these challenges a lot, like the topspin challenge, so that it starts to become second nature, so you don't have to think about it as much. So I basically have 5 strategies for you today on how to win with spin. I see that we've got a good amount of people in here. You can basically ask questions, say hello. I've already seen Stephen here. He said hello to us, so don't be afraid to say hello, ask questions as we go through. But number one, and this is why I want to start with this is huge, is knowing when to hit topspin and when not to hit topspin. So even though you're going through the topspin challenge and the promise is, I want to teach you how to hit the shit out of the ball, right? You're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to do that if you go through the topspin challenge enough. I mean, if you keep going through it, you build that confidence, you'll be able to rip the ball confidently with spin, and the ball is going to go in. You're going to be able to hit the ball really, really hard and have confidence it's going to go in. But like I was saying to start the class today, is if you don't have it mastered yet, dialed in, it's going to be tough to just do that every single time in a match. So you have to be careful when you use the topspin and when you shouldn't use the topspin. So I'm going to go through that. So we have Douglas here. He's saying, looking forward to this strategy session. Good. By the way, guys, I'm also going to be taking lots of notes and turning it into an outline and saying it to you later. So the biggest thing that I want you to get out of your strategy whenever you're playing and you want to hit the ball is hit what you can hit. I've said this before, and make what you cannot hit. And I want to go through this again. If you heard it before, it doesn't hurt to hear it again. Hitting what you can hit. So hitting what you can hit, let's first of all just take it from a physical standpoint. If the ball is coming to you, you're lined up, you see you feel prepared early, you feel balanced, right? And you've got a certain good technique of topspin developed, give that ball a good rip, because when we want to hit it, we want to go pretty much full acceleration with topspin. You know, the more you kind of like slow yourself down around the contact point, you're going to do what I call tweaking or tweening a shot, right? Where you're not quite hitting and you're not quite pushing, you're tweening. And this is where you lose control of the tennis ball and the ball tends to fly on you. So when you get set up and you can hit it, give it a good hit. But you have to understand when you're watching, like as we watch Rafa Nadal and de Minaur play today, they have a very high tolerance of what they can hit. I mean, they're able to run from side to side and still be on balance and rip the ball. It takes a very special shot for them to be out of position and then to guide the ball back in, which you will see them do. You'll see even Djokovic, who's so fast. You'll see him sometimes just guide a ball back in, making what he cannot hit. For us, I'm assuming everybody on this call today is like me. You're an adult, you're over 40, many of you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe even some of you are in your 80s. So your tolerance level of being able to hit every single ball is not going to be as high as them. And so it's really understanding, the more you can understand what your 50-50 balls are. And what I mean by that is maybe you run 3 steps forward, and when you try and hit that ball, you make it 50% of the time, but you're not realizing that. You're just saying to yourself, well, next time I need to get in position better. I need to do this more. I need to do that more. Instead of realizing, well, pretty much every time you run 3 or 4 steps forward for a ball, you only make it about 50% of the time. So why not just go to that ball and just push the ball in and make it? Maybe it's going 4 or 5 steps to your right or to your left, right? And then when you go to hit, again, you're making that shot 50% of the time. And since you're making the shot, you're thinking, well, I should make that shot more, instead of really kind of being, taking the blinders off and being honest with yourself. Go, you know what? I make that shot about 50% of the time. What's the big advantage of running out there and ripping the ball, right? Just go out there, make that shot. And then the next time a ball comes, when you're set up, you see it early, you're unbalanced, hit it. So I would say a big part of being able to play more aggressive and more consistent is actually just being a little more picky, right? We want to hit everything. But if you realize, hey, let's be a little more picky about what I'm going to hit, because I'm going to get another chance to hit the ball. You're not usually playing against people who have such incredible weapons that a ball or two later, you're not going to be able to set up and hit the ball. So just, be a little more lenient on yourself and make just more shots, and really just the shots that you can hit, go for those shots. That's physically. Now, mentally, there becomes times in a match where you start to get down on yourself. You start to lose belief that you can make the shot, and you keep yelling at yourself to hit the ball. Well, again, that's another situation that I recommend that you just learn how to also have a nice push punchy shot, so you can chip and charge, so you can bring somebody in, so you can lob over the net person, so then you can set up your hit. You see, lots of times we start with the chip before we rip, right? Even though our ultimate goal is we just want to hit as many balls as possible. We want to look like the pros as much as possible. But if you realize that sometimes if you lead with the chip, it's going to give you more opportunities and easier opportunities to rip, to hit that topspin that you've been working on, the topspin challenge, right? So that is tip number 1, is really understanding what you can hit, and when you can hit it, go for it, and understanding what you cannot hit, and let's make that shot. I know that I've had some members like Mark Wesselman, who's going through this Totally Obsessed Tennis Club. He's taking it really serious, and he's a big power player. And he says he's winning so many more matches now by deciding, hey, I don't have to hit every ball, right? I can be more selective about what I'm going to hit, and then doing that. Okay. So that was number 1. Number 2 is learning how to use your 5 gears of topspin. One of the things that people love to do, I even had a student this past weekend. She played this one match. She played somebody who didn't play pretty tennis. She lost, but it was close. And then she played another woman who hit the ball really nice, and she lost worse. But she said she had more fun, and she said it was better tennis. because they were able to hit the ball and it felt better for her, right? And so a lot of times when we think about a nice solid topspin ball, we just think about a nice clean ball that's coming. That's the ball we want to hit, but we also like to receive that ball. So if you're just trying to develop this one gear that's like a solid shot, right? It might feel good off your racket, but if it's landing in zone 3 on your opponent, right? It's coming right in at their waist. They like that ball. They like the way it feels. So they're able to get into a zone faster. So even though you might be feeling like, hey, I'm hitting the ball great, why am I still losing? It's because you're probably hitting a ball that, feels very good to your opponent too. So learning how to have 5 gears of topspin is going to make you a much more dangerous player to play against, because your opponent is not ever going to feel like they're in a rhythm. That's one of the things that Rafa in his peak is so good at. I mean, if you watch Rafa in his peak, he hits high, heavy balls deep and they explode up at them. If they make a little mistake, Rafa can run around and flatten the ball out and hit an inside out forehand winner, although he still has plenty of spin on it. He's great at hitting angles off the court, right? Sometimes the ball drops short, which if he drops it short too much, that's when he doesn't play as well. But occasionally dropping the ball short, makes the opponent just a little off rhythm because they're used to backing up, right? So the more you're just fooling them with the topspin that's going in and out of hitting zones, then your topspin is going to be a lot more effective and you're going to win a lot more matches. It's not about establishing this one solid ball. So here are my 5 gears of topspin that I want to go through. First of all, you have the ripper, right? Number 1 is the ripper. And this is the shot to where if you're going through my topspin challenge, that is the ground floor shot. Today was day 3 if people were on the free thing, but no one here is on the free thing. You're all totally obsessed members. But if you've gone through day 3, I talk about the ground floor, the first, the second floor, the third floor, and the penthouse. So the ripper is going low over the net. This is what you probably want to do ideally, right? Ideally, you want to play like this, and it's like the shots that we see Roger Federer rip and all those ripping winners, and that's kind of our dream. We wish we could hit every shot like that. But even when I made my announcement of the ripper shot, I said, be more patient with yourself. You're going to hit more in the net, more are going to go long. You need to stay with the ball longer. You don't need to bend as much. And so you can hit more winners for sure on the ripper shot, but you're taking on more risk. So you want to use the ripper shot your least percentage amount of time in the match, which probably goes against how you're thinking mentally. Mentally, you're like, I'm doing this topspin challenge so I can rip winners all day long. But again, think about it like playing a video game and you're using like your power boost button that you can use only once in a while. That's your ripper shot. So the ripper is the most fun to hit. You wish you could do it all the time, but that's the shot you want to use the least. Probably less than 10% of your balls should be just flat out ripping shots. All right, so the ripper is number 1. When do we want to use it? Occasionally we want to use it on very weak second serves that bounce high to where we're in the court. Whenever we can be into the court and we can actually see over the net and we can see the inbounds play, let's say in is the green court and out is the blue court. When you can look over the net and see green, right, this is a good time to rip the ball because now you have leverage on your side. When you're looking at the net and as you're looking over the net, you see blue, you see out, then this is a shot that you need to hit up on and get more height on it. So look to rip the ball when you're inside the court and you can actually look down over the net. Does this make sense? You can look down over the net and hit through the court. That's a good time to take more of a risk and rip it. Shot number 2 is the dipper. Okay, so the dipper is, you want to use this for, let's say you're playing doubles and you see your opponent moving from the baseline, transitioning to the net. Rather than try and pass them on the first shot, try and dip it at their feet. You're not going to stay with the ball that long, right? You're not hanging through it that long. You're literally just trying to get it to go up and down. This is where they talk about the windshield wiper kind of technique. This is a dipper shot. So you want to have this dipper shot lots of times when someone's first starting to attack you and they're transitioning to the net. Or if you're in a cross court rally and you guys are hitting the ball deep back and forth and you get a short ball, again, great to also use in doubles. So you're both back, but now you're into the court. And rather than putting all this pressure on yourself to approach the net, this is a great chance to open up the court and try and hit a dipper angle and get the ball to go off of the court, get your opponent outside of the lines. And now they have to decide what they're going to do because they've moved up and off the court. And that's a really hairy position to be in. Now they've got to decide, are they going to hit and run back, or are they going to hit and come in? And there should usually be a nice big gap for a passing shot or a poach for your partner. So think about using the dipper under those situations. Okay. Shot number 3. Hopefully you guys are liking this. This is my favorite one. This is the ultimate rally ball. So this is a ball that you want to hit 4 to 6 feet over the net. This is like your bread and butter shot. So we get nice height. And the ball, we want to have the ball bouncing around the chest or higher, because this is our least favorite shot. Jorge Capistani identified 4 zones of the body. Zone 1 is basically your knees and down. Zone 2 is knees to your waist. Zone 3 is waist below your chest. And this is where everybody wants to hit the ball. This is where people love hitting the ball. This is where everybody feels like a rock star when they can hit the ball like that. And zone 4 is above that. And especially if you get to the backhand side, especially if you're playing a one-hander, right? Very few one-handers love the ball up here. I know I don't like it. If I were to play with somebody at my level and they had heavy topspin and just like, I'm going to pick on Pete's backhand all day, that'd be a tough day at the office for me. So people just don't like it up here. So make sure that you really practice a lot of ultimate rally balls. This is much more important for you to establish than a ripping forehand shot. This would be what I'd spend the most amount of time really mastering, because if you can get an ultimate rally ball, now you're able to dominate cross-court rallies, right? Rafa is probably the best example. Most pros hit lower over the net than Rafa, but I think especially why Rafa has been able to dominate on clay so much because he's a lefty and he's able to hit that ball high to righties' backhands, right? That's a great example of the ultimate rally ball. So that is shot number 4. Shot number 3. Shot number 4 is called the atomic moonball, right? So imagine if you get into this. Now this is extra high. This is like a high lob. So think of it like a top spin lob. So it's even higher than the ultimate rally ball. And so imagine if you're playing somebody. People hate to play moonballers. Oh, I played a moonball, or played a junk ball, or it was no fun. If you have awesome control of your topspin, imagine how fun it would be is they hit their moonball with their hand open. So when the ball bounces, it has no rotation. And then you hit a heavy atomic moonball to where the ball is going super high and bounces and explodes up, again, forcing your opponent to either take the ball on the rise, which is very tough to do, or back up to the fence. And if you're really good at it, if they back up to the fence, they're going to run out of real estate and they're not even going to be able to get the ball back lots of times, okay? I remember in the 12 and unders, I played this guy, Larry Meltzer, who had an atomic moonball. And the first time I played him, I lost because I didn't know how to handle it. He was so good at it. We played an indoor court, and he was able to hit the ball where it would bounce, and it would go over the indoor curtain. And it was a very high curtain, too, by the way. It was higher than a normal fence, right? So, I mean, this kid could really hit crazy topspin. So hitting that atomic moonball is going to be big. And then your final shot that your final gear that you want to master is the changeup. So that's when you're going from cross court to down the line. And most people, again, will try and rip it down the line. They'll try and use the ripper down the line. But I call this a changeup because I'm not trying to hit a winner. I'm trying to change up the direction of the ball. This is especially for singles players. And I still want a nice 2 to 4 feet over the net, nice top spin. I'm hitting fairly aggressive, but I'm not trying to hit a winner. I'm just trying to really change it up and maybe they'll run there and miss, or maybe they'll run there and they'll give me a short ball, and then I can be more aggressive and approach the net, but I'm not trying to win. Too many people, when they get in cross-court rallies and they see that first opportunity to go down the line, they go down the line to try and win the point. They try and rip the winner. And that's when you're usually going to make too many unforced errors. So again, I really just like you to use your ripper shot when you are into the court and can see over and down on the court. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay. So that is, so far what we've gone through is when to hit topspin, when not to hit topspin, your 5 gears of topspin. This is, if you're joining us late, this is how to win with spin. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If you're listening and can comment, let me know if you're liking this content so far as a Totally Obsessed Tennis Club member. Let me know if you like this and you're getting something out of it, and if you have any questions. Okay, number 3 on my list, we're going to go through how to return fast serves, spin serves, and slow serves with topspin. And you might get this all wrong, okay? And you might make a lot of mistakes. So that's why I wanted to go through this. So returning a fast serve, remember how I said you hit in the push-up position, right? That was lesson number 1. The way you want to handle fast serves is basically just get your hand out to the push-up position as soon as possible. We don't even want any turn. If you turn and try and meet the ball off a fast serve, you're going to be late almost every time. Okay. All right. Cool. So you're going to be late almost every time off big serves. So you have to learn how to literally be out in front. Let me see if I can just show you a little more of my body here. Out in front and just get into the push-up position. You see how my chest is still facing you? And then I just want to basically almost no wrist, right? Because if the ball's coming fast, you're probably thinking the way I'm going to control this fastball is what with crazy spin and get it back. But if you literally just put it out here and move, the ball's coming super fast, and you just move your palm like that to the fastball. See, there's no wrist going on. I'm just here to here, and then just let it relax through. You're going to be able to return fast serves. So you want to stay open. You want to hit off your hitting side hip. It's just like a little hip nudge, and being in the power position, which is going to give you strength, and just boom, you're done. Here to here. Like literally, if I can do this right, I'm taking 100-mile-an-hour plus serve, and I am rocking it back faster than they can imagine. They're going to be like, why did I even bother hitting that big bomb serve? Because now the ball is coming back 3 times as fast. The more you actually try and like you panic or you move your arms too much, that's when you usually don't get a solid piece of the ball, and you end up missing your return, shanking your return, hitting the ball short, not hitting a clean part of the string, and actually taking pace off the ball and feeding them back like a floater. But the more you can just go, boom, right here, right to the push-up position and push. It's just more of like pushing your hand at it with your hip and keeping that as stable as possible. That's how you return fast serves, okay? Now, how do you return spin serves? It all depends if it's a kicking serve or a slice serve, right? So unless you're playing somebody with an unbelievable kick serve, lots of times a kick serve, if you're just playing somebody with an average kick serve, this is a serve you should love, because now the ball is going to come up to your chest here. And if you have topspin, remember I said people don't like balls up here, but if you are good at the topspin forehand and you're in a strong Eastern or semi-Western grip, the pros and really good recreational players love the ball up here. Like, I love this ball. If it gets here, maybe I don't love it so much, but if I can get it right here, I like that. And so again, be careful though to do a full turn. So anytime we have a serve of quality, whether it's a fast serve or a spin serve, it's a serve of quality. We don't want to turn so much. We want to basically keep our chest towards the court. And so the way we would handle a kicker coming at us is we don't want to turn so much, but now what we can do is, especially if we can move inside the court and see a little bit of that green, now we can use a little more leverage and really do what I call a down, up, and over move. So I'm going to let my wrist relax down for a second, and then it's going to feel like I'm almost hitting down on the ball. The most important thing is to keep that palm down and then really get leverage over your body. Really just like push yourself forward at it. And now you can add a little more spin. So there's a little more spin to this. So it's like kind of rotating like that. And you can flatten it out at the same time. It's almost going to feel like a high ball approach shot. If you watch the pros come in and kind of throw their body at it and push the ball into the court, that's how you want to handle a kick serve, right? And unless it's a great kick serve, I think this is a great opportunity to also take that and go cross court with the ball and really put some offense into it. So I'd go cross court, strong, and go for it. Also, this, if you're playing doubles and they're kicking it, it might, if you can run around it and hit inside in, I wouldn't go down the line. But let's say I'm a lefty, I'm playing the deuce side and I'm playing doubles and I can get a high ball on my forehand. This might be a great time to also take a risk and go inside in, because now it's kind of like you're hitting cross court through the ball, okay? So kick serve's actually a good opportunity to really kind of be aggressive. So that's how you handle a kick serve. Now, probably the hardest one I hear all the time, like, coach, you're not going to believe it. It's actually the slow balls I cannot return. I hate slow balls. So we're going to talk about this for a little bit. First of all, I love people giving me comments here. Willie says, great information, great advice. I like the change up, but doesn't the player changing the direction open themselves up for unforced errors unless you were setting up for a winner? So that's what I was saying. I mean, when you do the change up, it's because you're kind of winning the cross court rally. So that's a great question by Betsy. Let me just put it back up. When you're doing the change up, you've got some kind of advantage in the rally, and you see an opportunity. Maybe you just move them off the court a little bit. You're not going to go for a winner, but you're just going to change it down the line, and you have the advantage of being able to now move and reposition to the opposite side of the court. You're playing singles or reposition yourself. This is mostly a singles play. So this gives you the time to get into the right spot, which is usually the other side of the midline, right, on the baseline, right? So getting to the other side of that service hash mark over here. So I hit down the line, and then I want to get back over here. I'm over here hitting down the line. Then I want to recover back there. So you want to make sure you have a good advantage on the point. My point is, when you do change the direction, don't always just go for the winner. So good question. Back to the slow serve return. On this, number one thing, if you want to hit this ball, you got to be bouncing. You got to literally like get those feet going. If people are not very good at returning serve on slow ones when their feet are like this. This doesn't mean you're lazy, right? Just because you're staying like this and a coach tells you to move your feet and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I'm not moving my feet. That doesn't mean you're lazy. I mean, I'm looking at your face. You're really trying hard, but you don't have the habit of kind of being bouncy, right? The slower the serve is, the more you can move your feet and almost run and then hop into the ball. The faster the serve is, you just basically need to split step here, you're done. The more you move your feet, you're dead, right? So fast serves, the more you move your feet and do little shuffle steps, right? And then you try and hit, you're just doing too much. You got to be super efficient. It's like boom, boom, hit. That's how you handle a fast serve. The slower the serve is, we need to be on our feet. We can shuffle and hop a little bit, one final hop and then hit, okay? Now, I recommend that, again, if you can get the ball high, you can hit down on it, kind of like the kick serve. But since it's slower and you're not getting as much to work with, I would drop the racket even lower and be a little more spinny, right? Being a little more windshield wipey. I really, the least favorite serve for me to return in doubles was when I would play mixed doubles and I'd play against a woman who was like a 4-5 or 5-0 player who had excellent technique on her ground strokes. Maybe her volleys were decent, but even at the 4-5, 5-0 level, I'm sure you've seen it, some of these players would still like push their second serve, and it would kind of come low and flat. And I hated that serve because most of the people I'm playing most of the time were men, and they almost all spun the ball in, and it would either kick or slice. And I was just more comfortable with that. Okay. So when the ball is coming slow, I like to have extra security on the ball. So rather than going through flat with the ball, I like to be more windshield wiper, almost get more racket head speed going so I could bring it up and down real fast. Because I found with a slow serve, if I hit through the ball too much, that I would end up launching a lot of these long. So I would be on a slow ball, more windshield wiper, more spin, and go for those shots like that. Now, if you're playing the match and you're having a tough time, and you've tried a bunch of forehands aggressively, and you have missed these slow serves, don't keep, hanging your own rope, your own neck, right, with your own rope. Go to chips and charge. Go to bringing them in, right? You don't have to hit just because it's a slow serve doesn't mean you have to take the bait every time and hit it hard. So if you're feeling great with your topspin and you're on fire and it's working, then keep going for that. Right? But especially on slow serves, if you are making a mess out of some of these and your hand starts to feel all jittery and you're getting nervous and you're just stopping to believe, don't yell at yourself to keep going for that. Like, have an honest conversation. Go, you know what, man, I'm like as tight as a drum. And even though I'm yelling at myself to make the shot and to hit the ball and to play real tennis, I'm just really nervous right now. And that's okay. And if you're feeling like that, then do more chips and charge. You can still be super aggressive with a chip and charge, or a lob over the opponent's net person's head down the line, or a deep chip and charge, or sometimes just hit a little short angle and bring them in. You don't have to rip every ball just because it's slow. And I know I'm doing camps like almost every weekend, and I know you guys are not using that enough. So remember that. Let's see that. Is a windshield wiper still done in the push? Yes, you hit it there, but then you just pull away quicker, right? We don't ever want to be like wristy like that, right? If our wrist is broken, remember, I can't really do a push-up like this. I would hurt my wrist, right? So we always want to make contact in the push-up position, a strong position, but then instead of pushing through longer, I'm going to break off sooner, right? Does that make sense? So I'm still going to hit it in the push-up position, but I'm going to break away sooner to make the ball dip and go off the court. All right, so that's how you handle those serves. And one more thing, I forgot to mention the slice serve, because I got the slice serve. I love it when people are trying to return my slice and they're trying to either go for the down the line or they're trying to go cross court, because of the spin, they end up usually pulling their shot one way or the other, missing wide. When people are going through the middle firm at me, when they're hitting that slice return, I start to get afraid. Also on the slice returns, you got to really push your body forward. So you got to figure out what the angle of the serve coming in is, and you really got to go forward and go through the middle when you're returning slices. Because if you're trying to go one way or the other, that extra kind of curve usually throws people's timing off a little bit, and they miss like 3 inches wide there, 3 inches wide there. If you're going aggressive through the middle and you're really pushing your body forward at a slice serve, so it's cutting off the angle and really pushing your body forward, don't wait on a slice serve. If you're waiting on a slice serve and going to take big spins at it, they got you. You got to be short, forward, and go aggressively through the middle. Then I don't want to play you. Trust me, that's like the best advice you're going to get, because I lived off the slice serve. And when I saw people do that, pushing their body at it, going aggressive through the middle, I've had some long days with players like that. All right, cool. Good questions, guys. Now let's go through. That was, so far what we've been through is when to hit topspin, when not to topspin, the 5 gears of topspin. And now what we're going to go through is number 5. Oh, here we go. No, number 4, we're up to 4. How to rip topspin when you are nervous. So here's some things you can do. And again, it's really tapping into your mind. So how do we keep ripping topspin when we're nervous? Number one is we've got to really be really honest with ourselves, more honest than maybe you've ever been in your life about your confidence meter. A confidence meter at a level 10 means we feel great about our game, that even if we went for a shot and we missed, we're not overthinking about it. We're not starting to think about our technique a lot. We're not questioning ourselves. We're just like, okay, let's miss. Next point. No big deal. So if you're feeling good like that and you trust your technique, then keep hitting the ball even if you miss a couple of shots. Just, it's like a shooter, like Steph Curry. Just keep shooting, But when you start to stop believing, like actually Klay Thompson, like last night, he went 0 for 10. Right. So at some point, he probably stopped believing they were going to go in. So what else could he do? He's on the basketball court. That's tough. What could he do out there? Maybe make better passes. That's why he only shot 10 times, right? Make better passes, rebound the ball, shoot layups, try and get fouled, try and get to the line. That's what a shooter would do when they lose confidence in their shot. They drive more. They go to the basket. They try and get fouled. They pass more. They rebound, right? As tennis players, when we lose confidence, what can we do? Well, we can chip the ball more, right? So make sure, and that we're going to do a 3-day challenge just basically on getting your chip shots right too. Besides the topspin, we got to chip, and so going more to that. If you're starting to lose your confidence, another thing too is if you're starting to get nervous and you still want to hit the ball. I like people to grab the racket tight for 10 seconds. You squeeze that racket tight for 10 seconds. I learned this from Jeff Greenwald. And then you relax. The tension goes out of your hand. Lots of times, the mental and the physical go together. So if you do this and then all of a sudden your body starts to relax, then you don't feel as nervous. Then you're like, oh, I kind of like reset my brain. I feel loose now. I the anxiety's kind of gone. If you can get yourself to that state, you make a nice serve in your first shot, you set up and you hit it, well, you might start to just relax. And lots of times, all you got to do is make 2 shots. It's a 4-ball rally. So a serve and a hit, you just won a 4-ball rally. So sometimes just doing that tension release will then bring the confidence back to rip it. Because to hit topspin, we have to be loose. Once the arm starts to tighten up, right, and turn into that T-Rex, hitting the ball is going to be very, very hard. So it's being relaxed, learning how to get relaxed even when you're nervous. So you can do that by tightening up before your point starts. And then if you know that you've got the technique right on topspin, it should give you that confidence, that common sense confidence that, okay, the physics of topspin is the ball goes up and then it drops down. That's a big advantage. I'm getting the ball over an obstacle and then it goes in. So as long as I have the technique down and I can trust my swing, it's going to work, right? So in order to make this work for us, we have to make sure our technique is correct, that we're actually doing topspin correct so we can trust it in matches. And B, we have to be relaxed enough in matches to let it go, because you cannot swing slow at topspin, because that's when the ball kind of takes off on you. You look at the pros, when they hit their ground strokes, they're ripping at pretty much max racket head speed, but the beauty of it is that spin gives them the safety. That acceleration makes it safe. Just like if you watch a pro hit a second serve, they're all swinging as fast as they can. If pros start to swing slower at their second serve, they're going to double fault more. And that's another thing I see recreational players do. They go on their second serve and they're trying to do everything right, but then they slow down their spin serve and then they start to sail them long or they die into the net. You've got to let it rip with spin. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to our final piece of advice, is the best way to keep improving your topspin forehand. And that is just the rinse and repeat process of the 3-day topspin challenge. In that, make sure, thank you. Rick says, great tip on relaxing. Making sure that you're rinsing and repeating. Do your at-home exercises that we did on day 1, which is just like sitting around, watching your favorite tennis match, getting yourself in the push-up position, doing a lot of hand burners. Like if topspin is new to you, you want to think of this like you're somebody who's fed up with your weight and you're like damn it, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, right? Now I'm like serious. I'm going to win. I'm going to win that. You know how they have those, I don't think they do it as much anymore, but they used to have like those, what was it, the Biggest Loser or something like that, who could lose the most. And the one who was the most hungry, like they exercised all the time, they ate right, they like took it seriously. So if you're somebody's like, yeah, I really don't, when I go out there, I don't know how good I'm hitting the spin. If you're like in that position in the topspin journey, you need to be at home just like doing this all the time and feeling that. And then you go out to the court and you start close to the net. And again, you start with some hand burners, you start with some clicks, be close to the net and do lots of exercise, then work your way back. And then once you start to get it, then you can start to be more advanced and go, okay, now I'm going to do the penthouse drill. Like the penthouse drill, it looks easy, but it's the most advanced drill that we have. Even a lot of 4 or 5 players who come to my camps, when I'm asking them to intentionally hit the ball low and then go to the next level up and then the next level up and then the highest level up, it's very hard for them to lock into those different heights and spins. But if you can do that, then you're probably pretty good with this stuff. So, and then the most important thing is to film yourself. You've got to film yourself, because if you're just saying, well, I'm doing the work and you're assuming it's right, it's probably not right, you know. And even this guy I had a lesson with yesterday, you know, some of his swings looked great. Like they looked awesome, but they were going long. And then when we stopped him on contact, his hand was slightly, ever so slightly open. And again, since this is like topspin relies on acceleration, if you're just open the tiniest bit, the ball's going to fly on you. We've got to keep the palms closed. We got to keep things down, right? So there you go, guys. That is your presentation on how to win with spin. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you keep going through the Topspin Challenge. Since you are a Totally Obsessed Tennis Player member, next week, I believe next week or the week after that, I'm actually going to have people come on camera. We're going to have, now we're over 50 members in the Totally Obsessed Tennis Club. So you got to make sure you sign up quickly, because I'm only going to let between 5 and 7 people into these things when we do one next week. And we'll be basically looking at your forehand technique, so I can look at it on video and show you what you're doing right and wrong. So Betsy says super helpful. Doug liked it. Great stuff. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here, being obsessed to show up. And I'm going to basically take this presentation, and here's a cool little inside baseball thing you can do if you're like to do work online. There's a website called Temi, Temi, and you can take your video presentation and you can turn it into a transcript. So I'm going to go to Temi, put this video in there. It's going to give me a transcript. And then, yes, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, give me an outline of this presentation. And then I'm going to probably have to edit it a lot, because I'm sure it's not going to do a great job. And then I'll have to edit it and make it into a nice little presentation so that you guys can review this. I'll probably send it out to you either later tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can get a clean, because I know we talked about a lot. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and have a great day and stay obsessed.